All right, we're live. Hey, this is the Nerdy Cool Dad podcast, and as promised, I have a special guest with me, my good friend Mark Panacci. Mark, how you doing?
Good, man. I don't know, use the term special loosely, but thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem, no problem. So, how's Good Friday treating you so far?
It's like the weirdest Good Friday I think I've ever had.
Yeah, because you're like pretty traditional, like your family. I know you're Italian, Catholic as well, right?
Yeah, so we'll normally do like church and then go see the grandparents. We don't eat meat today, so it's usually like a fish dinner.
Yeah.
So Mel and I were doing some of those things, like we're not eating meat today, but it's
Yeah.
definitely not the same.
You said you were going to be dropping off flowers for people or something?
Yeah, so because we can't see anyone, we bought Easter lilies when we went grocery shopping this week.
Okay.
And we're just going to drop a flower off at my grandparents and Mel's parents and my parents. So we won't go inside. It'll be like a porch drop off with a card, but
yeah,
at least
nice.
we could do.
Yeah, for sure. So how's your family holding up with all this? Like, I know, like, do you have any ties to Italy at all, or is everyone here? And
no, on my dad's side, we still have cousins in Italy. So it's actually, okay, so it's bad in Italy, but it's a blessing and a bit of a curse because my grandparents here, they don't really understand what's going on, but because they have family in Italy and they watch like the Italian news, they are more inclined to listen because it's like, well, it's not just what Canada's telling us, it's happening in Italy. So, it must be bad. So they're taking it a lot more serious. They're staying indoors. We drop groceries off to them. Actually, one of my grandparents are up at the cottage right now. So that's where they're living. They've been out there for like the last 2.5 weeks.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, why the hell not? Get do some social distancing in a nice place.
Yeah, it's I'd love to go to the cottage. So
well, they got OPP out. I don't know if anyone would actually get fined, but they're telling people not to go up to cottages because basically the small communities can't handle people coming and going to their stores, buying everything up. Like they don't have the same supply chains available. And, if a small community gets any sort of case of COVID-19, then it's like chaos for them. They just don't have the infrastructure to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know how you enforce something like that. If you own the land and you own the cottage, who's going to tell you can go up there?
I think for now it's just a precautionary measure. If we get to a point where they're doing like checkpoints and stuff like that, then I don't know. Depends how convincing your story is. You don't have a whole like car full of crap clearly going to a cottage.
Well, when the weather gets better, I feel like most of the cottage country is already packed. So supply chain should probably be better stocked to handle, summer travelers. But
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. So we'll see how long this goes for. Really, I don't know. Based on what I'm seeing, it's like now they're saying unless there's a vaccine, they're going to be doing social distancing for the duration of that time, and a vaccine could take like years to figure out. So I don't know what the plan is really.
I heard from someone that they predict what will happen is as people start to contract and recover, they'll be identified with like a bracelet or something as someone who holds immunity to the coronavirus, and then they'll be allowed to travel and go about their regular lives.
Yeah.
Others who haven't won't be able to. They'll have to continue to self-isolate, and they're going to do that probably to stimulate the economy.
Yeah. Well, they got to do something. It can't stay like this for a year. Like, that's crazy. Everything will crumble down.
John, I went grocery shopping this week, and I was telling Mel, like, if this is our new norm for grocery shopping, I don't want to do it anymore. Standing in ridiculous lines to buy, like, crap I wouldn't normally buy, like Mr. Noodles and crap.
Yeah, right? Like,
have it on hand.
You can't even go to the produce aisle and, like, consciously buy it because it's just out in the open, and it's just like...
No, it's not even that. They don't even have half the produce we normally eat. Like, they had no lettuce when we went. They had no avocados. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just a pain.
You gotta go to Costco for that. You get the 6-pack of lettuce there, or the 8-pack, or whatever the hell it is.
So we hit both Superstore on Wednesday and Costco yesterday.
Okay.
And very different experiences. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, because like I went to a Superstore 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, and I knew what I was getting myself into, but I got everything I needed that I could remember at the time. But I didn't have too many issues. I mean, some of the like especially the frozen vegetables and stuff like that. That stuff's like ransacked. Like you can't. I managed to get some corn, but that's about it, really.
Frozen corn and
what was
peas?
your experience like?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago when I went grocery shopping, it wasn't bad. There was like a lineup to get into the store, but there was no lineups at the registers yet. They hadn't implemented like 6 feet social distancing, so the lineups to cash out weren't terrible. This time when I went, like completely different experience. Huge lineups to get in, huge lineups to cash out. When I cashed out at Superstore, I think we waited in line for 25, 30 minutes, and it like wrapped around the store all the way to the dairy section.
Yeah.
And like the worst part is you're social distancing from the people in front of you, but you're lining up next to aisles, right? So people are constantly trying to get in between you to get like a bag of chips or something. And then cashing out, they're taking precautions. They're disinfecting everything after each checkout, which is slowing things down. So I appreciate the precautions they're taking, but I feel like, maybe having fewer people in the store at any given time might help with that.
Because then you just have to line up outside the store.
I know. Okay, so that's what happened at Costco. The lineup outside was like 10 times as long, but they only allowed 150 people inside this massive warehouse. So there was no lineup to check out.
Okay.
And I prefer to line up outside if the weather's decent because, like I said, there's no one butting in front of you to try and get a bag of chips, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really enjoyed my shopping experience at Costco more than Superstore.
Yeah, I can see that. I think they're more well equipped. It's more space. Like actually, considering how much of a pain in the ass it is to go to a Costco on a regular day outside of COVID-19, it's chaos. I get like anxiety going into it. But I mean, it's a necessary evil to get those sweet, sweet spring rolls. But
we back to the bottom pack. They're on sale, John.
Oh fuck! I need to go. I need to buy like 7 packs. I got no late night snacks, and they're the only vegan ones available. If anyone's wondering what the hell I'm talking about, the spring rolls at Costco are phenomenal. They're vegan friendly, and they're not in the frozen aisle, so they're kind of by the cheese area. I saw them at End Cap the other day, but yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, they sell them at Superstore now, but they sell them in half packs for like the same price, right? So.
What's the point in going to those stores? It's funny. I wanted to go to Costco yesterday. I was all geared up to go in the morning, but I'm thinking to myself, like, do I really want to go to a Costco on the Thursday before the long weekend? And the answer was no. So I didn't go, and I just got to deal with the consequences. I got no good snacks available now.
Yeah, you try to be strategic with your timing, and it doesn't seem to matter anymore. Like at one point, it was like we plan our trips so it'll be like a bad day of weather. Be like, it's cloudy out and cold. No one's going to be shopping today. But that doesn't seem to be working anymore.
Yeah. Well, what can you do, right? No. Hopefully, I mean, it really is the norm. I mean, I'm wondering to myself, like, is it because they're only limiting people into the store, or are people still in panic mode and just buying way more than they need to? Or is it a combination of that and supply chains being not what they were? Or I have no idea. Probably a combination of all.
Like, okay, so Superstore has a 2-item limit on everything in the store, which I think is ridiculous. So, like, if you want
limit.
Okay, so you want Mr. Noodles, you can only buy 2 Mr. Noodle packages. Like,
well, what if you buy the box of Mr. Noodle?
You can buy 2 boxes. So anything in the store, you can only buy 2.
Just so you know, Mark, you should never buy Mr. Noodle anymore. Want to know why?
All right, let's hear it.
Because there's another brand that is vastly superior to Mr. Noodle. And when you see it, it's called Indomie.
Indomie.
If I'm pronouncing that properly. Let me tell you, once you have Indomie, you don't go back to Mr. Noodle. Mr. Noodle tastes like garbage.
John, I didn't go back to Mr. Noodle by choice, all right?
Yes, you did, Mark. I'm telling you. Try the Indomie. It comes with like 5 different flavor packets for each one. And mwah.
All right. I'll
Yes.
pick up 2 of those next shopping trip.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they sell them at Walmart too in packs of 5. So there you go. You can only get them in packs of 5, I think.
So Costco's doing it right. They do like limits on essentials, Lysol wipes,
Yeah, and
toilet
that's the way it should
paper.
be.
Everything else is free game. You want to buy, 4 packs of water, like they don't care because they
But
have
there's
enough.
still a bunch of morons in there with a whole cart full of bottled water. What the
So
fuck?
I turn heads because Mel and I, we buy like 3-4 cases of water at a time. But you have to understand, we were doing this pre-quarantine. So
But why
people
do
look
you
at us like
buy
a
bottled water? What do you need bottled water for?
I don't know, it's convenient.
Convenient. I drink out of my tap. I don't care. As long as it's cold, it tastes fine.
Like a
I don't even use a Brita.
Oh my goodness. You live in
Savage.
2009?
Well, you know what it is? When I was living out in BC, the tap water there is so good. Like you don't get any sort of mineral taste or anything. That I got so accustomed to it that I don't know. I get like glass bottles and I fill them up and put them in the fridge, and that's that. I don't need bottled water. Bottled water is such a waste. I always see people with like 12 cases hanging off their cart. Like half of the people that do it are like obese too. Like I don't even understand that. Like clearly you're not drinking the water. Like not to point fingers, but it's bizarre. Or all the weird photos you see on Facebook or social media going around. It's like someone who's in like a cart thingy that like they maybe they're disabled or something with a bag on their head with 12 cases of water hanging off it. Like I don't even understand. But, hey, this is the new reality, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, hopefully we'll get past this whole thing. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I got to get I've set up some online orders and stuff to get delivered to my house. Pretty good. I mean, I got one last weekend. It took like a 2-week turnaround to actually get it though. So, I mean, you got to kind of plan ahead. So it's not a bad idea if you just need like a few things or whatever.
Who are you using for that? What
I
company?
used Walmart.
They do at-home delivery, not like store pickup?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, other than the turnaround time, you can't really do anything about that. I got no complaints really. Apparently, Superstore is a pain in the ass. My dad set up an order, and like half the things weren't even in there when he went to go pick it up, even though they had them in the store available. So he had to go there to get his online order to pick up, to go into the store after to get half the shit they forgot about.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I'm not a fan of how Superstore is like handling their stores, to be honest with you.
Yeah, which one did you go to?
The one in Ajax, or sorry, not
Okay.
Ajax, the one in Whitby, right by my house.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that plaza is pretty crowded as on the regular. I've never really been to that Superstore too much though. I went to the one in Ajax and had a pretty good experience. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
You had some grumpy assholes in there, like hating everyone and why is this thing and why are we waiting in line? This is ridiculous, sort of thing.
Yeah. I was one of those people, but under my breath.
This is ridiculous. God damn it. I just need some eggs.
Well, I'm like, how do you not have every register open? Or like, I don't know. I felt like it could have been managed better.
Yeah.
To stand like 35 minutes in the checkout line. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah. Well, it's either that or get the corona. You don't want that. Got to make the precautions. So I got to ask, I mean, this year's probably been pretty challenging for you and Mel because she's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
You go from striking to all this bullshit and now the coronavirus. What's that like being sort of close to someone who's a teacher kind of dealing with all this?
I mean, it is what it is, right? It's nothing she could do about it, so we've just had to really like adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
It's cool now though because I work from home regularly, and now she's working from home, so she kind of gets to like see me in my element, and she's like her own little office, and we're spending a lot more time together. So it hasn't been difficult, right? Or as difficult as someone might think. We've actually enjoyed it. We've made the most of it, to say the least.
Yeah. Lots of puzzles?
No puzzles. She reads a lot. We bought like a Kindle. So she's
Okay.
ordering books through Amazon. And
Nice.
then I have rekindled my passion for Xbox.
What are you're playing Xbox One then, or?
Yeah, my brother-in-law lent me his Xbox One because he games on a
Nice.
computer. So I've
Okay.
been playing Warzone, Call of Duty, which is cool because everyone I know or like friends that I haven't kept in touch with over the years are all playing it. So it's become like an outlet to reconnect with a lot of people for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I don't know, I've never gotten into online shooters and stuff like that, but it is a good time to get into it if you liked it before or something like that. Can you play cross-platform, or is everyone on Xbox or
Yeah, no,
PC?
you can play cross-platform. So like I was playing with Dave the other day. He's on PC. And then my other friend from Markham, they're on PlayStation. I'm rocking an Xbox. Like they've broken down a lot of those barriers now. So it's
That's
more
good.
interactive.
Yeah, no, that makes way more sense. I mean, the publishers would probably prefer that. Like, yeah, I was talking about in the podcast yesterday how I got some of my old consoles up and running. Like, I've had a Wii U for a long time. I lent it to my niece, and she wasn't really using it, so got it back, and now I've got Missy hooked on playing Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she put 8 hours into it yesterday.
That's a full day at the office.
Yeah, pretty much, right? She's never played Legend of Zelda before. I'm like, you know, you like puzzles and stuff like that and fantasies, so give it a go. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't take long to get her hooked. So there you go. Now we can both play video games on the couch.
Yeah, I think the only game Mel is interested in playing is Animal Crossing. And
Yeah.
I don't understand Animal Crossing, so.
Yeah, that's not my thing either, but I've know lots of people that have spent like countless hours playing it. You're just running a village, basically. I
Is
don't
that
know.
what it is? Is it like
Yeah,
Farmville?
it's more in depth than that, and there's lots of different characters. I don't know. I don't have the patience for it. It's like, you know, the dialogue part of a video game that you're just getting through, so you can get the items, so that you can go and kill people.
Yeah, mashing A the entire time, trying to get through it.
Yeah, that's basically the entire game.
Sounds like my worst nightmare.
To each their own. So you doing any good cooking during this lockdown here, or what?
Honestly, no, because we have our normal recipes that we plan for, but like to plan a new recipe, go to the store and find out the spice you need or something isn't available, or you're making something and you realize you're out of something, so you want to go back to the store but you can't. So we've been sticking to like the old faithfuls, you know, some type of meat with a produce on the side. That's been the bulk of it, but I think we're gonna try making some bread this weekend.
You gotta make bread. I've been making bread for weeks now. I'll send you a recipe.
Everyone's sending me recipes. I feel
No,
like
I'll send you a recipe, Mark.
all right, send me your recipe.
No, so the one I've been doing is like a good like everyday bread.
Yeah.
It's like it's light, but it's dense at the same time, so it's easy to cut and make sandwiches for. Because Aubrey's obsessed with just like peanut butter sandwiches, so I gotta get something, and I'm not going to the goddamn store to get bread every week. So yeah, and you know what? Once you start doing it, like I make 3 loaves at a time, and I put 2 in the freezer, so it works out nicely. Always got
Does
bread
it
on hand.
stay in the freezer though? Like, can you thaw it out and still good?
Oh yeah, bread's weird. Like it thaws out in like an hour max.
And then how long is it good for before it starts to go hard?
So I keep it in like a Ziploc bag. It's good for a week.
Really?
No preservatives, nothing. But you'll go through it in a couple days probably. So I go through right now. I'm going through 3 loaves of bread in like just over a week.
Wow, you guys are eating a lot of bread.
Well, they're not huge loaves. They're like that big, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we do eat a lot of bread, like especially Aubrey, right? So kids love their sandwiches, and I like bread too. So
Is it difficult for her? I mean, it must be hard for Aubrey to deal with isolation and quarantine.
she doesn't know what's going on. It's just like lots of like her attention span is going crazy. She always wants attention. And I think most people with kids right now are dealing with the same sort of situation where they're getting a little stir crazy. You know, she wants to see her cousins and friends, but it's not like she's asking every day and whining. What would suck is having like a teenager right now,
Yeah.
because like I don't know, unless they're like really into video games or whatever they're doing and have a project, they must be going stir crazy. I don't know. It's hard to say. Or people that were like obsessed with sports. Like, can you imagine if you were like one of those athletes that like for myself in high school, I was playing soccer like 4 days a week, right? If all of a sudden I didn't have that and I couldn't train, or I didn't even know if I was going to have a season this year or what have you, that would be pretty difficult. So I don't know. It's hard. Everyone's dealing with it differently, right?
Yeah. I would have loved this if I was in high school. I'd been playing computer games
Yeah.
all night. Pretty much what I did already in high school, but I wouldn't feel as guilty about it.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd have justification for it. But now they have school back on digitally. God damn it. Ruin your fun, right? At least they gave you like a month off.
I don't know how much of this is like real schooling, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't even know how that works. Like, is it actually going to create credits for you? I don't know. It can't be the same curriculum.
No, like how comprehensive is it, through an online platform, right?
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. School's so different now than when we went. Like most kids have to have some sort of computer, laptop, tablet, what have you. A lot of them bring them to school too, is my understanding. So there's a lot of like digital learning already, but not to this capacity. And I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm piecing this together based on various conversations I've had with people. So I don't know. We'll see. As long as I'm saving money every month, not having to put my kid in Montessori school right now, it's working out all right for me.
It's crazy how much money we're not spending. But like I said, we spend it on stupid things now. Like we're just bored, so we order something off Amazon.
That comes a month later.
And we're like, so speaking of that, I had to order a headset for my Xbox.
Yeah, you're telling me that.
And the dates are backed up to like May. So,
but I think they're under promising and over delivering.
Then they should put like a range, because it actually stopped me from buying a number of products just because there was like a month delay on shipping.
Yeah, and was there a big markup on it too?
No, I mean $40 for a headset, $50 seemed pretty standard.
Yeah, okay. I guess there's certain things. Like I was on there the other day looking for rain boots for Aubrey, and it was like $60. I'm like, I'm not paying $60 for kids' rain boots. They're gonna grow out of in like 3 months.
But John, they have cats on them.
They did have cats on them. So, and they weren't even good ones though.
I don't want to be started on Jeff Bezos here, but
that's so bitch.
we support Amazon in our house. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, it's convenient, but I don't know. I think the whole landscape is going to change. Like I was trying to look into getting into drop shipping and stuff like that. I was pretty adamant that I wanted to do it, but like everything comes from China, and like I don't know. I mean, if the dates are already crazy, like last time you ordered something off AliExpress or Wish or whatever, any of that crap, it takes months to get here on the best of days. It's gonna take a year to get here now. So
I wouldn't order anything off AliExpress right now.
No, it's crazy. So I don't know. It is what it is. How are you getting along without sports?
That's a good question. Honestly, I've adapted pretty well to it because I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the Leafs season to begin with. So
yeah, that's kind of a weird wash that I'm happy to take, because I don't know, that was ready to go south any moment.
I'm more interested in just finding out what they plan on doing, because like we were supposed to go to Calgary, so we bought Flames tickets from StubHub, and they're not reimbursing us the cost of those tickets because the game is technically paused. It's like postponed until further notice. So all of our money is just tied up in StubHub until the NHL makes an official announcement. It's been like a month.
What are they going to do?
Here's my take. I think they're going to start playing games in isolation. It's not even my take. This is a take I've read online. But they're going to play games in isolation in one city. So they'll have all the teams fly to like Vegas, like the NBA was talking about. They'll retro a casino or something into a skating rink, and they'll resume the season there and broadcast it without fans.
That is interesting. So I'm so removed from sports. Like my normal routine where I wake up in the morning, listen to like TSN radio or whatever, and see what's going on. I haven't listened to it since this whole since the league shut down, because what the hell am I going to listen to, right?
Yeah.
Landsberg talking about 5-hour energy every 5 seconds.
They're only standing sponsor during these times.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know. That's an interesting idea. But at the same time, the players have to be willing to do it too. And are they even in shape anymore? Like,
No.
kind of injuries you're going to deal with, and you can only have up to X amount of people there at a time, right? And I don't know. There's a lot of things that you have to consider.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of variables. They're going to have to do some type of training camp, like a 2-week training camp, before they can start playing games again. Or else, I mean, it's so close to the end of the regular season. You don't want to see injuries, by forcing people back to playing too early. So
and this is kind of comes in line with I was talking about this I think yesterday. I don't know. Everything blends together. Like entertainment without fans there is just not the same. I think if it's a real sport, it wouldn't be as bad. But I mean, I think we'll take it because we got nothing else, right? Like,
well, think of the viewing ratings they would get.
Oh, it'd be incredible.
The teams would hurt because they wouldn't be able to fill the stands. But like from a broadcasting standpoint, they would clean up.
Oh yeah. Well, the other thing that I just thought about right now is because you have all the fan noise and all that, you don't hear what the players are saying. Can you imagine all the censorship they'll have to do? Because I mean, God knows what a lot of the hockey guys are saying for sure on the ice, like, and all the chirps going on, right? You're gonna hear everything.
I think they should mic up everyone, and it should be like a broadcast that you pay for, and you can hear like the uncensored broadcast.
Yeah. Or even the refs. I know the refs trick the players a lot too. So between that and like NBA or whatever, I mean, I was actually looking forward to the Raptors in the playoffs. I thought it was going to be like a really cool run for them. But I don't know. It'd be nice if we get a baseball season at least.
I think the NFL is the only sports league that is just resuming like their draft as scheduled, and they don't seem to be making any adjustments to their scheduling yet.
Yeah.
So
well, you know who's really cleaning up during this is the XFL.
They're not broadcasting, are they?
I'm joking. This is like a cursed league. I was actually talking to a client of mine the other day who was actually into it, from St. Louis or whatever. And she was like talking about the XFL. I was like making a joke about it, and she was actually upset that it wasn't on. So
I don't know. The obsession with football in the U.S. is crazy. There's such an appetite that just can't be like quenched. They'll watch high school, college, NFL, and now XFL. Like, how many different football leagues could you possibly watch and still be entertained by?
Well, I mean, they're all on different seasons, right? Like you get the NCAA football earlier before the NFL starts, and now the XFL will take over when the NFL's kind of ends. So football all year round, baby. I don't even like football.
I talk to colleagues in the U.S. and they tell me football is on their TV like 3 nights a week, all year round. So I'm like, that's too much.
Yeah, you'd have to be in a situation where both you and your spouse actually like football, or else I'm sure that would get annoying. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, this is our new reality, as I've said before. So, you watch any good shows, anything like that, or?
I started watching Big Mouth on Netflix.
Oh, that's the one with is Bill Burr does the voice, isn't it? Or is that a different show? No, that's F is for Family.
Yeah, Nick Kroll, the comedian that was from The League. Remember Ruxin from The League? And then he had his own show. Yeah. So he's like the main producer and voice for the show. It's on Netflix. It's a cartoon, but it is not child appropriate by any means. It might actually be the most like offensive show I've ever watched to like some parents. Like, just I recommend you watch an episode or two when Aubrey's in bed.
Yeah,
you'll see what I'm talking about, because it's about like kids going through puberty and their hormones, but from like an adult comedy perspective, so you can only imagine the jokes.
Interesting. I'll have to take a gander. I still got to watch that Tiger dude. Whatever the hell.
You haven't seen Tiger King, John?
No.
Come on, man.
Am I missing out?
Yeah, of course you're missing out. That show is like, that was the best entertainment I'd had since quarantine started, for sure, hands down.
All
Like,
right.
if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you sit down and you watch, a couple of episodes,
Yeah.
and then you won't be able to stop.
All
It's like a
right.
train wreck. You can't take your eyes off it.
All right. I'll put it on in the background while I'm playing some Zelda tonight. How's that sound?
No, it requires your full attention.
Full attention. Oh shit. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes then. I might have a nice weekend ahead of me. I got nothing else to do. My big plans were gonna make some bagels, and
My cousin just did that.
your cousin did.
Yeah, she was sending Snapchats. So what do? You boil the bagel first and like
Yeah,
water
yeah.
it?
So I've never made bagels, but I've made pretzels before a bunch of times, and it's
Yeah.
very similar, right? So you get your dough, and then you fill a pot of obviously water, and at least with pretzels, you got to put baking soda in too. So probably something similar with bagels. Then you take them out, and then I guess you put your seasoning on them, and then you bake them.
I thought bagels were fried.
What are you talking about? Bagels are fried.
Those are donuts, maybe.
Yeah. No.
Brown.
I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the reason you have to boil it is because if you didn't and you baked it, it would just like puff up like crazy.
You have a monster-sized bagel.
Yeah, I mean they still get way bigger, but like it prevents them from expanding too much. Is my understanding, and it's probably true.
John, I think you should do one unboiled, just to test to see how big it gets.
You got it, Mark. I'll post it on the page.
I'll do like a marshmallow in the microwave, like
yeah.
Never stop.
Well, it's funny because like when I first made bread, I like actually filmed myself doing it all, but I had like different camera angles, and it got too complicated. I'm just like, I just never posted it. So I'm gonna document myself doing bagels today, and everyone can enjoy. But I'm just gonna make it simple. I don't want any production value. It's too time consuming.
You just need an overhead camera, one that goes right above your hands and has like a.
Yeah, I've got that thing I was showing you, the little snake light thingy. Yeah, I'm gonna make a go of that. That'll be my go-to filming tool. Actually, I saw a really cool thing that was advertised to me. Is essentially like those snake light things that I have. Hold your phone, but on top it's got a little light, like one of those fluorescent lights, so you can get good lighting on you while you're doing your videos. And yeah. I thought it was pretty nifty. Yeah, yeah. Another great drop shipping product. Yeah. So before we get going, I want to just pick your brain about the whole political situation right now.
Are you sure, John?
Pardon me?
I said, are you sure?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's hear it. What do you got?
No, I'm asking your opinion. I'm giving my opinion to people every day. Like, the circus that's about to happen with Trump and Joe Biden, and like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I saw Trump had a tweet out the other day when Bernie dropped out, pretty much thanking the Democrats for doing him a favor, because I think he likes his odds against Joe Biden. And
of course,
I think that against Joe Biden, okay, what Trump's known for is how he's been able to stimulate the economy, right? And I think coming out of something like this, that's going to be a huge emphasis for the U.S. Markets, right? How can we get the economy back on track? So I think Trump, if he can message that well, will do well in the next election against Joe Biden, because it's not going to be a 2-3 month stimulation plan to get the economy back on track. It's going to be a long-term effort. And if you have someone like Trump in office who only cares about the markets and through Twitter alone can increase the share of the stock exchange, that's the kind of person you need at the helm, right? So I think he's going to make a good push, to be honest with you. I really do.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where literally I think if they put anyone else outside of Joe Biden, they would have a better chance to actually do something in this election, and they picked Joe Biden.
I mean, it's the whole Hillary thing all over again, right? The Democrats, they pick who they want, and then they kind of force it on people when the public's saying otherwise, right?
It's stupid. Like, the more I think about it in hindsight, I think they should have held on for Hillary to this election and had someone else the previous election, because if Hillary was running against Trump right now, I think she'd mop the floor with him.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people like Joe because he was, he ran with Obama, and Obama's one of the most beloved
Yeah, but he's
presidents
like
in the United
going
States.
senile. Like
Yeah, there's reports of him, like, yeah, you're right, losing his mind, like having
yeah,
dementia.
and I don't know how much of that's fabricated or maybe he was just having a bad day. I don't know, but I don't. I think Trump, he's willing to go and do those low blow comments and really try to take someone down at any cost. And he's got the easiest possible target right now.
Yeah.
And what can you do, right? Politics. You got a choice between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like,
Yeah.
there's really no winners in the whole political
Yeah.
realm. So,
And the weird thing in Canada, like everyone's getting along. I mean, that's kind of what Canada's kind of known for. But the between like Doug Ford and Trudeau, I mean, it's like it's not about what color you represent or anything like that or what party. It's like just getting shit done. So, funnily enough, I mean, a lot of people hated Doug Ford for his like sort of brash attitude and calling him like the Trump of the North and all that crap. But at least he's getting in, like he's good with the people. He's good with the the manufacturers, or like let's build stuff in Canada sort of thing. And he's actually going out and getting those things started, which is nice. So as long as we're not ramping up production of like medical supplies just to sell it back to China or something like that. I don't think that'll be the case at all, but that would be a big deal if that was what happened.
yeah, I mean, I think the bigger problem is there's like the tiers of manufacturing. Like, we might have final assembly in Canada and Ontario, but it's like all the raw materials that we have to
Well,
bring
for
in.
the masks and stuff like that, which is a big deal, we actually produce the raw material for it, which is
Oh,
so
I saw that
ridiculous.
in Vancouver.
Yeah, all the we produce. We have the like a paper mill or something like that that does all the pulp for it, and we've been just taking that and exporting it to other countries. So now we just do it ourselves. We already have all the necessities for it.
The thing is, like, if you're a company, do you jump on board to do that for this temporary period? Like, is it still a smart
Yes,
business
you do.
decision long term? But that's like short term, right?
No,
Money
but it's not.
long term.
Here's the thing. It's short term, but we also realize that, hey, we really sucked at preparing for this. So let's get hordes of backlogs on things like this for another potential pandemic that could totally happen. If it's happened once, history is going to repeat itself, right? So people are going to learn, hey, we got to be prepared next time. And those companies that jumped on first and have the contracts with various levels of government are going to make a lot of money. And there's a lot of things that they have to, like, maybe they produced previously that are not useful anymore. So,
well, I think that's what the big fear would be. Like, imagine you jumped on board to produce all these N95 masks, and then the next pandemic comes 10 years later, and there's a new technology that's far superior to an N95 mask, right?
yeah, but you probably won't be able to get that technology or whatever to the masses. And you already have all these masks that are better than waiting for this new thing to come out or whatever. I don't know, yet to be seen. I see where you're coming from. But a mask like that can at least always be used for construction or whatever, right? There's always uses for stuff like that.
I think like the global strategy right now is just weather the storm like the best we can, and not make too many rash decisions if we don't have to. I honestly feel like that's just the consensus around most
Well,
of
the
North
problem
America.
is that, like, there's a couple things from a global scale that are kind of scary right now. So, I mean, in history, you've seen world powers come and go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened with so many different civilizations, right? Or empires. And who's to say that's not what's happening to the U.S. right now? While they're down, I wouldn't put it past other nations out in Europe, like maybe like in Russia or the Middle East, to say fuck America. Like they're using the American dollar for oil prices. Maybe they decide that the American dollar isn't as solid as it was before, and we use the euro or something like that. And that would cripple the U.S. economy. Things like that you got to consider, right? So it's I don't know. There's weird things going on, and then you got China, and maybe I'll put on my tinfoil hat for a second.
I was about to say,
Like,
conspiracy theory.
the thing is, all right, regardless of what your potential theory might be and what's the truth, what's not the truth, you got to admit it is weird to have someone who has a population of over 1 billion to have the epicenter of where this whole virus started, and all of a sudden, no, we're good now. We don't have any issues. Like, I just find that hard to believe when they're like a superpower as far as like having their economy back up and running now, and everyone else is floundering. I don't know. It seems a little fishy to me, but maybe it's nothing. Maybe it has not, as I said many times before, it has nothing to do with the Chinese people at all, anything like that. I just know that they're in a very militarized state, or like, maybe that's not the right word actually, but their government controls a lot of things. Yeah, it's a communist state. The government hides a lot of information. Like, if you consider all the world leaders around the world that got affected by this, apparently not a single elected official has contracted COVID-19. No one in the military, like high-ranking military professionals or personnel. It's just kind of bizarre when you see what's going on. And you can really go down a rabbit hole with this, and I'm not going to get to that point. But I'm going to stay open-minded. I don't think it has anything to do with 5G, though. I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
I'll leave that one for the flat earthers.
Yeah. Not to throw fuel on the fire, but there was a Fox report that came out about like the World Health Organization and their general director being endorsed and backed by China. And,
yeah,
you know, back in January, still, you know, pushing for world travel and not closing borders. And a lot of people think that's because they wanted the virus to spread globally. And if WHO started recommending not traveling, you know, it made it a lot more difficult to do so. So that was a news report. So take that with a grain, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll find out one day. I mean, one of the reasons I like doing this podcast is I literally want to look back one day and be like, oh, all these episodes when we were in quarantine, I got to watch them and see what the hell, where my mind was at that point and what was going on. So it's sort of retrospective years from now. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't last, past the summer, really. I mean, I want my camping trip in July, goddammit.
That's my 30th birthday this year. I can't lose it out, you know?
No, exactly. So, you know, we'll figure this out. Well, we're all in it together, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyways, I won't keep you much longer. I'm sure no one will want to listen to us much longer either. So I'll let you go. Thanks for joining the show. And as usual, let's just stay the fuck home, people.
All right. Thanks, John.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too, buddy.